What's going on, guys? This is Miracle Trigger, and today we're going to be reviewing all of the current Angel Feather cards that we have in the V series. So there is the UltraRare Miracle Collection coming out in about 2 weeks, and I want to make sure that everyone has all the information that they need on the cards. This way you have a rough idea of whether or not I think they're worth trying out. As for the actual deck recipe I'd recommend, I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow. Basically, this is just going to explain all the cards, and tomorrow's video is putting them all together and how I think a deck should be made. Anyways, if this is something that you think is helpful or you might enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Vanguard content. But with all that being said, let's start off with the grade 1s. There are a couple grade 0s coming out, obviously. We have the starter, Perfect Guard draw trigger, another draw trigger, and 2 crits. They're pretty standard across the board, so I'm just going to skip over them and jump right to the grade 1s. So we're going to start off with a 7k grade 1 called DOCTOROID CIRCADIAN. This is basically a vanilla card. It has a 15,000 shield though, and we've seen these printed a few times. I've seen a couple people test them out and mixed results a lot of the time. That being said, this is a Protect clan, and I think you're going to have more than enough guard as it is. And there's just so many powerful grade 1s that I don't think that there's a reason to actually run this card. With all that being said, I'm going to give it a 1-star. You don't need to play this card. Not even worth trying out, most likely. Next up, we have a promo card. This is INCISE Angel. So it won't be able to be found in the extra booster. However, if you can get your hands on it when it comes out, definitely jump on it if possible. And it has the ability, when placed, you can put a card from your damage zone on the bottom of your deck and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. Then you turn a card from your damage zone face down. Basically, there's a bunch of grade 1s with this sort of ability. I'm thinking they're all going to be extremely powerful, as you can manipulate what's in your deck, what's in your hand in some cases, and you can add triggers back to your deck as well. So if that's something that you're going to be looking for, I think that this is definitely a card you want to try out. That being said, I think it might be on the lower end of these 3 or 4 cards, but again, definitely worth running. It adds to the consistency of the deck pretty heavily. Next up, we have the best version of that card, being Marking Celestial Arab Hockey, which is kind of a weird name, but again, this is an extremely powerful card. This is the 5-star, and it's definitely going in the deck. When placed from hand on rearguard, you can discard a card from your hand and add a card from your damage zone to your hand. Then you can put a card from the top of your deck into your damage zone. So this is good if you have perfect guards or heal triggers if you need some guard. Or let's say you're missing a grade 2 or a grade 3 and you accidentally took it as damage. We all know how often that happens. This is an amazing card to kind of even that out and make sure you're not miswriting in any way, shape, or form. The next card we're looking at is Shadowless Angel. This is the Perfect Guard grade 1. We've seen these printed a few times now, and there's just really no reason to run them so far. Again, this clan has a lot of powerful grade 1s, so it's even pushed down further in there. It's still a Perfect Guard, so if you want to run it, it's not a terrible card, there's just better options. So I'm going to go with 2 stars. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can try it out if you want. Next up is Syringe Lesser. This is a 7k grade 1 with the act ability that you can put it into your soul from rearguard, and 2 of your units get plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. This is hot garbage. I would not recommend playing this card, and don't do it. There's no reason to do this. The next card, however, is pretty powerful. 1000 Ray Pegasus. When it boosts a unit, if you have a card that was put into your damage zone during this turn, which a lot of the cards we've covered so far and a lot of the cards we're going to be covering have definitely been able to support, you can counterblast 1 and this unit will get 10,000 power until the end of the turn, giving an 18,000 boost total. 5-star card, amazingly strong. I like that there's the option to do it whenever you need. It's very easy to activate, and it's just great to push a bit of extra damage. Now, this is the best version of all the damage swapping cards, I think, and this is Underlay Celestial HESEDIEL, which, again, weird name to pronounce. So, when placed on rearguard, you can counterblast 1 and swap a card from your hand with 1 in your damage zone and place it face up. So, usually you're going to be counterblasting the card that you want to add to your hand, and it's like nothing is paid, which is kind of cool. This is going to be able to get you, again, a lot of those perfect guards, a lot of the heal triggers, or correcting your grade ride. So, super strong card. Most importantly, though, is it allows you to add ZERACHIEL to your damage and allows her ability to go off whenever you need it. So this is a great card. This is probably the strongest grade 1 if I had to guess. The last grade 1 we're going to take a look at is another promo card, and it has the ability that when on Vanguard or Rearguard, Whenever your Vanguard attack hits, you can give one of your other units plus 3000 power until the end of the turn. So it's okay. Again, there's just too many better options to run. I'm going to give this a 2 stars. On to the grade 2s, we're going to start off with WorkerOid AETHER. So this is an 8k attacker, which is usually on the low side. I'm going to actually give it a 2 stars overall. On rearguard, it has the ability that when its attack hits a Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1, put a card from your damage zone into your hand, and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. So again, this is one of those swapping effects, although it comes with a cost and a condition that you have to hit a Vanguard. It's not particularly ideal. It's super weak in comparison to the other cards. I think 2 stars is being pretty generous, but again, if it does ever get pulled off, it's pretty strong. It does also add a little bit of pressure to the field, but it's pretty negligible. The next card we have is Essence Celestial BECCA. This is another 2-star card. When placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit and your Vanguard get plus 3000 power until the end of the turn. So plus 6 to the field on place is okay. It has some synergy with some of the later grade 2s, but it's nothing in comparison to the really effective cards we have in this clan. The next card is Medical Gunner HERMIERES. This is a 4-star card. On rearguard or guardian circle, it has the ability that if you have 5 or more cards in damage, this cannot be retired by your opponent's card abilities, and it gets plus 10,000 power and 5,000 shield. So there's a lot of powerful things when you're looking at this card. First off, I think that just anything that can give itself an extra shield is pretty invaluable. It's really strong effect, and we've seen a lot of grade 2s that can get 10 or 15k shield be played in several different decks. But we also have to consider that a lot of the time getting to 5 damage is a pretty easy condition to hit, and this will be swinging for 18,000 on its own. With 1000 Ray Pegasus behind it, you're swinging for 36 sometimes, and that's just pretty good in general. So, like I said, 4-star card, good offensively, great defensively. You're not losing out too much here. Another one of those kind of utility guard and attacking cards is Million Ray Pegasus. So if a new card was put into your damage zone this turn, it gets plus 5,000 power and plus 5,000 shield. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5 stars. Again, we have the utility of the shields, plus it, and whereas Medical Gunner is only effective at 5 damage, this is essentially effective until 5 damage for your extra plus 5,000 shield. As far as getting plus 5,000 power on your own turn, you have tons of cards that add damage or manipulate your damage zone. This is going to be extremely easy to pull off and just gets great rows. The next grade 2 is Rear Impetus Celestial ARMAITI. It has the ability that on Vanguard or Rearguard, when placed from hand, you can Soul Blast 1, call a card from your damage zone to your rearguard, and put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down. It's an okay card, calls your field, kind of builds a bit of advantage without you losing too much hand, which is kind of nice. And it's just kind of a nice middle-of-the-road card, so I'm going to give it a 4 stars, being a little bit generous here. The next card is kind of a discount Million Ray Pegasus. When it attacks a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more cards in your damage zone, it gets plus 5,000 power until the end of that battle. It's okay. It's nothing crazy. It's a little bit more consistent than having to take that extra damage each turn. However, I think the versatility of getting that extra 5k guard is just monumental, and there's no reason to run this card instead. So I'm going to give this a 3 stars. And the last grade 2 that we're going to take a look at is Wild Shot Celestial RAGUEL. When placed from hand, if a new card was put into your damage zone during this turn, you can counterblast 1 and call a card from your drop zone to the rearguard. Notably, ARMAITI can't be used because it has to be called from hand. However, there's a lot of grade 1 specifically that are activated when placed just in general. I think this is a great card in utilizing some of those, especially if you have to guard with them, for example. So overall, I think it's a 4-star card. I definitely recommend thinking about running this card. It has the ability to pull off some really cool combos. So we're finally on to the grade 3s, and the first one I want to talk about is Mobile Hospital Feather Palace. On Vanguard or Rearguard, whenever it attacks, you can Soul Blast 2 grade 3s and turn all cards in your damage zone face down, which is kind of weird as it's not a specific counterblast, but I think that's even more powerful if you're looking for a finisher, as if you have all 5 cards turned face down, you can still activate this, which is pretty insane. This unit gets plus 20,000 power as well as an extra critical, and your opponent cannot guard with sentinels from their hand. So this card is super powerful as a finisher. You also get the Protect Circle with it, so you're not losing that as a gift. Overall, it's just a pretty strong card. I'm going to say it's a 4-star. You should 100% run at least 1 or 2 of these in your deck. Kind of think of it as the deer from OTT almost. This is a really strong card. The next grade 3 is a lot weaker, and that is PADRABLE Phoenix. When your Vanguard is attacked, if this card is on rearguard, you can retire it and call a card from your damage zone to guard circle. Put the top card of your deck into the damage zone face down. So, this is bad. This is just basically an extra Sentinel. It does not have a Protect gift if you have to ride it, and I don't think you would ever actually play this in your deck. I'm going to give it a 2 stars because, I mean, it's still a Sentinel effect, but I just don't think it's efficient enough to run. The 2 is, again, being very generous. I haven't really played around with the star system too much, so I'm honestly a little bit hesitant to drop a 1 star, but this is something I would consider giving this card. Your main grade 3 will be Crimson Impact Metatron. So when rode from a grade 3, you can counterblast 2, call a card from your damage zone to rearguard circle, and this card gets plus 15,000 power till the end of the turn. Notably, you're not putting another card into your damage zone after doing this, so you're effectively healing 1 and filling your field, and you can call one of the counterblasted cards to the field, so it works off of a counterblast 1 overall. This is a strong ability. You're able to just heal 1, get a 15,000 power boost, and call a card for a counterblast 1 effectively. And then on top of that, it also has another ability. On Vanguard, you can once per turn put a card from your damage zone at the bottom of your deck and deal 1 damage to yourself, performing a damage check. So you're almost playing as though you have 3 drive checks, first of all. Second of all, you can recycle triggers into your deck. And third of all, a lot of cards are manipulating your damage zone by adding cards into your hand, so if there's nothing in there that you like, you can use this ability, play one of those cards, and search for something that might be better for you. And again, you're buffing cards like the PEGASUS. It just has a lot of synergy with the deck. It's extremely powerful overall. This is a really great card. Easily a 5-star, and 100% going to be the core of your deck. Finally, the last card we're going to be talking about is SOLIDIFY Celestial ZERACHIEL. Some of these names, I swear, are basically tongue twisters. So this is another grade 3 with a Protect gift, and on Vanguard or Rearguard during your turn, if a new card was put into your damage zone this turn, all of your units in the front row get plus 3,000. So there's plenty of cards that can activate that effect, so you're definitely going to get this buff just about every turn. It also has the act ability that in your damage zone, if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, and this card is face up in your damage zone, you can put the top card of your deck into your damage zone face down and ride this card as stand. Note that this can be used multiple times in a turn, so you can basically fish out several Protect gifts. And on top of that, it has the ability to overcome Murakumo's lockdown effect. This is another 5-star card. It's super powerful, and if you're putting cards into your damage zone, this is probably the card that you're looking to do that with. So those are all of the Angel Feather cards that are going to be coming in the upcoming extra booster, as well as the few promo cards that we've seen. What do you guys think of these cards? How do you think that you should run the deck, and which are you most excited to see? Let me know all that in the comments section below. Like I said, we should have a deck profile probably tomorrow if I can. But with all that being said, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Vanguard content. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.